So hello guys, welcome back to my channel, and today we are going to talk about a very interesting use case, that is lending collection management. So what if AI could help lenders recover more money smarter, not harder, right? So in this video, I will walk you through a cutting edge agentic AI application which I have built for loan collection management. It doesn't just analyze the data, but it segments customers, recommends personalized strategies, and adapt to changing borrower behavior. Okay. So before I deep dive or start explaining, because I will walk you through the step-by-step approach how to design this complete system. But before starting that, it will be good if I give you a brief context about the problem, right? What is lending collection management, so that you can relate more while applying the same concept, right? So, in lending collection management, what happens basically? So, loan collection is one of the biggest operational challenge in the lending industry, right? So, lending industries are those who basically offer loan to its customers, right, for different purposes. So, those customers basically they take loan and they pay. Some customers pay on time, some delay, or some maybe default, right? They don't pay. So that's where lenders struggle with late payments, unresponsive borrowers, and rising collection cost, right? If lenders do a lot of follow up, then collection cost will increase anyway, right? They need to deploy a lot of people to take follow up and then make collection strategies and all those things. So that's why traditional approaches like generic follow-ups or rule-based systems often miss the nuances of each borrower's intent and ability to repay. So that's where we can apply agentic AI. And by combining data analysis, intelligent segmentation, and strategy simulation, this system proactively recommends the best approach for each customer, right? So you can design it very customer segmented approach, right? So whether it's a gentle reminder, a restructuring offer, or escalation, the goal is to maximize recovery and minimize friction, right? So that's a brief about lending collection management and how or what we can optimize by automating it with the help of agentic AI. Okay, so let me quickly start it. So before starting, I will of course give you a kind of feel how it look like. So I have a complete code base, but I will walk you step by step. But don't worry about the code base. Okay, let's first run it and kind of visualize how it looks like. Okay, so I have already started the environment. So but for demo purpose, let me again activate it. So I'm activating conda activate demo. So this is my environment. So I have already written like what all libraries and what is everything you need to be installed in your system. Okay, so I will explain that a bit later. So let's first quickly look into the demo, how it looks like. So for example, I'm running the main file. Okay. So main.py file. And in backend, you see here, it is asking whether to process all customer data or sample data. So I have created a kind of 1,000 customer data. Okay. So that I will run in real application when I'm demonstrating. So let's quickly run it for sample. So it ran quickly without taking much time. So I'm running it for sample. So I given sample. And now here you see, right, all agents have started working. So I'll explain in a minute what all agents I have built. So here you see the first agent is data engineering agent, and it is doing all sort of analysis of the customer data, right? And giving it like risk category, right? Percentage paid, everything it will give. Okay. And then further agents are kind of thinking, executing, right? And then kind of drafting the response, everything, right? So it is kind of data engineering is done, and then further other agent like risk analysis agent is also there that has started its task. And likewise, I have 4 to 5 agents mentioned, right? So I'll talk about everyone. So let it generate the output and let's see the output how it looks like. So for this terminal output, I have created a nice markdown file which can be very beneficial for the end user. Okay, so if I scroll to the bottom, so you will see it has generated the nice markdown. Okay. So now let me open that. So under output folder, I have created this markdown. So if I go to this folder and simply open this. Okay. So give me a minute, I'll open the Chrome. So it opens nicely. So it has generated this file. Okay, so let me open this. Okay, so now if you see here, so lending collection management. So it has created just now. Okay, so I'm recording at this particular time period. So as I said, I have generated it for sample customer, that is 10 customers. So here complete portfolio assessment with AI driven agent is done. Okay. So now if I just go through it. So here it has generated a very nice executive summary. For example, this report provides a comprehensive analysis of the loan portfolio and presents data-driven strategies for optimizing collection operations, right? So very nice. I mean, we can control like how long summary we need, if we need in pointers or whatever manner we can control with the help of agent, right? So we can define what we want and agent will work according to our need. And then here we have kind of key portfolio metrics. So here total customers analyzed is 10 and then average loan amount is this, average remaining balance is this, average percentage paid. So see, I just click a button and within a second it has generated everything. And then there is a customer response overview as well. Like when in traditional approach, because I have a historical data, right? So this response is from the traditional approach. That's what agent will analyze further. So like how when we took the follow up, then 13 were responded neutral, 9 were positive responses were there, 8 were negative responses were there, right? So it could be on multiple follow up. Don't confuse with the like there are 10 customers, so those should be total 10. So there are multiple follow up basically for the same customer, right? And then detailed analysis result. So here you see there was the first agent named data engineer. So here it has done overall portfolio health and risk profile analysis. So that's why the analyzed loan portfolio comprises of 10 customers with an average loan amount. So blah blah blah. It has generated everything. The data quality observation, it has given key trends and customer behavior. It has given risk distribution analysis also it has given. And then finally it has also provided a recommendation for data driven collection approach, right? So it is recommending prioritize high risk customers for immediate collection efforts, employing personalized outreach and possibly legal or collateral based remedies to mitigate losses, right? So likewise, these recommendation it has provided. So, didn't you see like these are like very nice recommendations, right? So think about the lender's point of view. If you get everything within a button click, right? So how magical it look like, right? So I mean you don't need a expert banker who suggests those strategies, who come up with those recommendation, and then you take certain actions. You have a AI agent deployed and then you just click one button, feed the data, and everything will be done automatically, right? And then second agent is like risk analysis and strategy agent. So what it is doing basically, it will first do risk category definitions and characteristics. So like high risk customers, it will define medium risk customer, who are our medium risk customers, low risk customers, right? And then collection priority framework. So it will give you the framework for how to the collection strategy should look like. So for example, who are the immediate priority? So high risk customers due to their large balances and imminent default risk. Focus on personalized outreach, legal remedies, or collateral enforcement to maximize recovery. Right? So likewise, we have different plans for different segments. Then we have resource allocation recommendations. So it is suggesting allocate 50 to 60% of collection resources to high risk customers so that the collection can be maximized, because these are the high risk customer who kind of are at the defaulting risk, right? So there are chances like no recovery will is happening. So that's where if we deploy more resources here with optimized balanced focus strategic approaches, then we can get or expect more collection, right? So likewise further recommendations are there. And then if I go further down, so customer segmentation, so it has a segment customer in different categories, right? Medium, high risk, all those you can read about this, right? So I will not go through each and every line basically, because my objective is to give you a feel and then focus more on implementation, because I'm going to show you hands-on approach, like how as a developer, as an AI scientist, how you will develop this whole thing. Okay, so this is from the business point of view. So like most important, how should be the communication strategy be, right? So for example, comprehensive customer segmentation and communication strategy for effective collections. So what it is telling, customer segmentation framework. So for high risk non-paying customer, prioritize. So what are the characteristics? Large outstanding balances. So these are the characteristics for a high risk non-paying customer. Okay, so these are the three characteristics. Then what should be your channel preferences? For high risk customers, you do phone calls, personalized phone call, email notices, SMS, urgent reminder, right? And low risk, you can just do the routine emails. So these are fine because these are low risk. They might pay as well, right? So there are low risk customers. Message tone and approaches. For high risk, firm, professional, empathetic tone should be there. Low risk, you can be friendly, encouraging, likewise, right? And then you can even frame the email template as well. Okay, you just replace the name, and if you want to update something here, you can put the date, you can put the amount, and just trigger the mail. You can even see, as of now, I have given some basic instructions to the agent to generate the. You can have very customized email template for your own use case, your own tone, whatever manner you want, basically, right? So for high risk customer, email template is there. A medium risk customer, low risk. So everything it has generated, and then call script guideline also it has given. Right? For high risk customer, how to call, basically introduce yourself professionally and empathetically. Clearly state the overdue amount and consequences of non-payment. Express understanding of potential hardship. So basically, everything it has given in call script, right? And then escalation protocol also it has generated. Additional recommendation also it has generated. Collection action plan. Everything it has generated, right? And it is suggesting to follow up, right? And then what is the implementation recommendation? For immediate next 7 days, you can prioritize these things. The next 30 days, you can prioritize these things. And then long term, now 90 days, you can prioritize. So just think about this, right? Take a pause, take a minute break, and think about this as a lender's point of view, how useful it will be, right? So having said that, let's jump to the implementation plan, guys. Okay. So here, let me minimize the terminal, and let me show you the code step by step. Okay. So here, now see, don't directly jump to the coding part. Just think about this problem, how we can break down this problem. Okay. So, what all things you need, basically? The very first thing you need data, right? So for data, of course, agents have power to analyze the web. Okay, you can give some web scraping tools to the agents, and they can. But see, your customer data is not available on the web, right? Your customer data is available within yourself, your own database repositories. So that's where you need to provide database access to the agent, right? Of course, with some authentic, some confidential with those all metrics can be implemented or talked later. But of course, having all these in place, you need to provide data access, right? So that's where, like, here we need to have a data folder. I'm assuming your data is placed in the data folder. Okay. And then once your data is there, you need to define the agents. Then we should have a agent folder, right? So we have data, we have agents, and then we for the agent we need to define the task, basically. So tasks are the elaborated means to tell what agent need to do, basically. Okay, so that's where we have data, we have agent, we have task. Okay, so these are the three main building blocks. And then using main, we so that's the the starting point of the project or program, right? So the starting point. So that's where it will trigger everything. And then of course at the end we want to generate the report. So that's where the reporting logic I have placed here. I will explain everything in a bit. Okay. And then, so let's start with the main.py file so that you get a glimpse of the code, and then you will understand what are the different blocks, and then every block will understand. Okay. So let's start. So here, basically, let me collapse everything. Okay. And here I have defined a class like enhanced loan collection system. Okay. And from that class, I am calling run analysis. Okay. Inside run analysis, what I will do, basically, I will call this agentic system. Okay. So agentic system will trigger, and then how it will traverse through different agents via the task, and it will do the job. Okay. So guys, one more thing before I jump into this. So see, as I said, here in this specific use case, you cannot provide web related data to the agent because that is not your data, right? You need to do analysis on your private data. So that is one thing. And another thing is, right, if you expose your raw data as it is to the agent, still it will analyze and it will do all sort of whatever is required, but it will take lot of time. Okay, because of course agents are LLM driven, so you need to have lot of LLM in place. So that's where if you are exposing raw data, then it will have lot of cost, because agent go in thinking and reasoning process, and that's why they generate lot of tokens. And as the token size keep on increasing, your cost will keep on increasing, and of course the time will keep on increasing as well. So that's where best practices is, if possible, uh, have data processed in place, okay, so that you can pass the process data. If some sort of statistical analysis to be done, you can do it pythonic way in advance, so that you feed that process data to agent, to what is agent's main task, to think over that data, right? What should be the communication strategies, who are the high risk customers, all those thinking process you can hand over to agent, not like a typical calculation process, okay, data processing. So wherever you have data processing, it's advisable is like have that already pre-processed, then feed to the agent, okay. So that's where in data I have processor.py, so that's where I'm processing all the data. So let's first quickly see how the data look like, okay. So here in synthetic loan, so we have kind of a customer IDs, and then customer names, and then their age, then annual income, then loan amount, then interest rate, then tenure month, then loan start date, loan due date, and repayment history. Okay, so like let's see in the last column. Okay, so how many days delayed? So what is his history of paying basically? Okay, so what is the average delay on time? Likewise. Okay, and then we have synthetic responses as well. So, for example, a banker is when doing a call to the customer, to the borrower. Okay, so what kind of response he is getting? So, a neutral response like please extend due date, a positive response like payment completed. So, likewise, a negative response could be payment not completed. Okay, so likewise, responses are there. Okay, so we can have all those kind of responses. Okay, and based on those responses, you can run the analysis. So I hope now you are clear with the data. Okay. Now let's see how we are kind of process. As I said, you need to process the data before feeding to the agent to minimize the time and analysis period and the cost, of course. Okay, so here in the data processor, I have defined the data processor class. Okay, and inside that I have some static methods basically. Okay, so I'm not going to explain the complete Python. Okay, I'm expecting you already know the Python. Okay, so I will kind of explain the structure. Okay, and a bit about the code. So here, as I said, we need the data, we need the agents, and we need the task. Okay, these three things I will explain in a bit. And then around that, whatever the like, for example, config, you need to have some keys if you want to do some OpenAI LLM based call, or you want to have the open source model. So all the key secret you can keep in settings.py under config. Okay, and that will be read by environment variable. Okay, and then utils, for example, at the end, you will be exporting the report. So just exporter code. So these are some side like supporting code bases there. Okay. So let's start with the data directory. So we have processor. So in the processor, so I'm loading the data basically. So here I'm passing the CSV file path. So this is synthetic load data.csv. And then here I'm loading in the Python pandas data frame. Second, I'm loading the customer responses. Fine. And then third method, I'm doing the filter customer response. So what filter customer response will do basically? So in a loan data, we have all set of customer, and whoever being followed up and whoever has responded. So that customer response we are filtering. So basically in the whole loan data, whoever being contacted and whoever has responded basically. So that we are filtering and responding, returning. So customer response, whoever has actually responded, and how many total customers are there. Okay. Then process date. So here we have some date columns. We need to process that so that we can get the loan start date in a proper pandas date time format, and loan due date we can get, right? So that process data frame we can return. Okay. And now we can pass the payment history. So like there is a history. So we'll call this method and pass the history basically. Okay. And then we are processing. So basically here we are not doing anything extra. We are just, if it is a kind of list, so that we can return it as a list, or if it is a kind of JSON string, then we can load it properly in JSON format, so that further processing become easy when we are passing everything to agent, nothing else. Okay. So just a Python work. and then calculate payment metrics. So here, what we are calculating for each customer, we are calculating what is the total paid amount, what is the remaining balance, what is average delay, that is from historical payment time period, and then what is percentage base. So these three things we are calculating from this synthetic data. If you look at this synthetic data, you will see like based on the columns, right? So this is the repayment history, loan due date, loan start date, tenure month. So all these we are processing basically inside processor. Okay. And then we are calculating the risk score. So risk score will calculate like a high risk customer, medium risk customer, low risk customer, okay? Because these are directly based on mathematical formula. We can because based on the threshold, right? For example, if average delays more than a month or 6 months or a year. So this again vary based on lenders to lenders, right? Organization to organization, this will vary. So here we have kept some threshold. Based on that, we are identifying high, medium, and low customers. Okay, low risk customers. So you can define your risk threshold, and it will be done. Okay, that's it. So here we are kind of calculating risk score and then creating a data summary. In data summary, based on above defined method, what we are calculating, how many total customers are there, what is average loan amount, average remaining balance, average percentage paid, risk distribution, high risk customer. Risk distribution means like, so what is the what is the total size of high risk customer, what is the total size of medium risk customer, what is the total size of low risk customers. So likewise, okay, then high risk customer, high risk count, medium risk count, low risk count, sample customers, all those things, right? So this is the kind of data summary. And then we want to create a response summary basically. Okay, so here we are kind of total responses. So, there is a like, so responses are those like when lenders has contacted the borrower and what kind of responses we are getting, right? So that's where response summary. So what is the sentiment like positive, negative, neutral? So that distribution, how many positives are there, how many negatives are there, how many neutrals are there, likewise, right? And common responses, what is the most common response? That's the distribution, right? And then pre-processed data. So that's why this is the main method. And inside that, we are calling all above method, right? So here, so this will be called from the main method, and here we are passing loan data path, we are passing customer response path and customer samples, right? And then so samples means like if you want to process the sample, if you want to process the all, then of course this will be none, right? And then here, so whatever method we have discussed about, so we are kind of calling. So this is the basic data processing job. So I assume you are from the machine learning background and you know bit about Python, so you know the importance of data processing, right? So this file does all kind of data processing. Right. Next important thing is like start with agents, right? So now let's see the agent file. So here I'm defining the agent. So guys, here for this demo, I'm using CrewAI, but there are multiple other platforms like LangGraph is there, PhiData. I mean, there are many. Autogen is there from Microsoft. You can use many different framework. Okay, so but CrewAI is like very quick to use when you want to learn agentic AI. Then CrewAI is very good. Okay, so that's where like for demo purpose, I have selected uh, this CrewAI. Okay, so I mean this error was because this interpreter was not selected. So now I selected. That's fine. Okay, so now here I define a class loan agent. Okay, and this is the constructor, and inside that I am defining different agent. So the very first agent I am defining data engineering agent. Okay, so here I have created dev data engineering agent. Okay, and here it will return an agent. So from CrewAI, I have imported agent. So this is the agent class, and this is a structure of the agent. From CrewAI, it is expecting. So it should have a role, it should have a goal, it should have a backstory. Okay, the remaining two I'll explain. So what is role? Basically, you give the agent a name. Basically, you are a data engineer, so it will understand what sort of task I need to perform. Okay, so task will define more elaborately later. So here, kind of, we are creating a skeleton for the agent. Okay, and what is its goal? Analyze loan data and provide insights for collection management. So here, as I'm defining analyze loan data, but where I'm passing the loan data, that I will pass through the task. Okay, so here I'm just defining the agent. Okay, and backstory, you are a data engineer with expertise in analyzing loan portfolios for collection optimization. So a short backstory, crisp backstory we have defined. Okay, and you can keep verbose true or false. Okay, I mean it's just like kind of a level of output you want. So this is fine. Okay, so this is mostly for debugging purpose. Okay, so you can make it false if you want to have a very focused output. And here LLM like because see ultimately to generate the analysis you need some learning model, some language model, right, to understand the text and everything, right? So that's where you can pass Olama based open source model, as well as you can pass here OpenAI or any other commercial model as well. Okay, so for demonstration purpose I am using LLM from OpenAI. Okay, so that's where, like, if you see the config, so here I am reading OpenAI key. So from environment variable, I have set the environment variable with .env file, and from there I'm reading the this OpenAI key. Okay, that's fine. And then loan data path and customer response path, and whatever output is being generated, I'm putting that into this folder. And what model I'm using? GPT 4.1 Nano. Okay, so this is the latest model I'm using. Fine. So now let's go back to agent class. So this is the first agent basically, and likewise we have defined second agent. Like, so first agent will do data engineering work, so all sort of like gathering the analysis from the process data, and then it will then second agent will kind of do the risk analysis. Okay, so as I defined, this role is risk analysis expert. Goal is like analyze customer risk patterns and prioritize collection effort. And backstory, you are a risk analyst who is specialized in identifying high risk loan customers. And here again, verbose and LLM, right? So third agent I have defined like a segmentation specialist agent. So here customer segment specialist, and create a goal like customer segments for targeted collection strategies. So like here, customer segment means high risk, medium risk, low risk customer. Okay, based on collection strategies. Right. So for you, high risk customer definition could be different from others. Right. So you have to define your own based on that agent will work. And then what should be the communication strategies? So see, so till now it was just around data, right? Kind of agent was gathering information about data and analyzing it. So next two are very very important, like communication strategy. So what should be the communication strategy for each customer segment? So that's where here I have defined role as a communication strategies. Goal is develop communication strategies for different customer segment. And backstory, you are a communication expert who crafts effective collection messages, right? And then of course I pass the LLM. I mean, it is perfectly fine if you have different LLM for different agent. It will work perfectly. Okay. That's why, like, as you know, in this LLM AI world, nothing is fixed, right? You need to do a lot of experiment. You need to try out multiple things, and then only you can finalize, okay, which strategy is working best for this kind of use case. Okay. So here I'm kind of explaining, but for more experiments, for more optimal results, you can try out by changing the LLM. Okay, which model works best in your use case, that also depends, right? So yeah. So now last is like collection manager agent. So like once we have defined collection strategies, so how to kind of make them implementable, those collection strategies. So that's where collection manager will come in place. So he will kind of based on collection strategies, how many resources need to be deployed, what should be, I mean, whatever the time is being suggested. So how to kind of take that account time into account to handle all those collection strategies, right? So that's where this collection manager comes in picture. So we have defined the role, goal, and backstory, right? And then here we are kind of instantiating all the agents. Right. So I hope this agent class you understood very well. So once after defining the agent, immediately we need to bind agent with the help of the task. So the tasks are the more important thing. So let's go into the task folder. So here we have like analyze task. Okay, so again from CrewAI, I have imported a task and agent. These two things are everybody knows from the Python word. Okay, so nothing to explain. So CrewAI import task and agent. So what is task basically? Okay, so task is like more elaborative form of prompt which help agent to understand what exactly to do, and with the help of the task we pass the data for the agent to analyze basically. Okay, so that's where here I have defined the first. So you remember the first agent was data engineering agent. So that's where we have defined the data analysis task. Okay, and here I'm passing data summary and response summary, which we have generated as which we have kind of processed in the processor data processor class. So here I'm defining the first task. So analyze this loan portfolio data and provide comprehensive insights. So what is portfolio summary? So portfolio summary, we what data I'm passing. This is the data summary. So you see data summary here. We have generated data summary. This is the data summary, right? So this data. So basically this JSON will be passed in that agent. Okay. So I mean, wherever you want to think, you can pause the video and you can go back to that particular uh, time period of the video, so you can see what exactly that file look like. Okay. So now this is the data summary, and similarly, we have also generated the response summary here in the processor. So this is the response summary. In response summary, these three are the important attributes which we are passing. Okay. So now this is the input data, and now we are telling to agent, provide detailed insights about overall portfolio health and risk profile, data quality observations, key trends in customer behavior, risk analysis, and recommendations for data-driven collection approach. Right? So these three, four, five instructions we have given to the agent. And which agent? Here we have passed the agent, right? So the moment we are calling this task, so that's where whatever agent we are passing, that will be binded to this one, right? And what is the expected output? Comprehensive data analysis with actionable insights. We are expecting, give me the insight, give me the insight. Okay, so that agent will give you the insight based on these 5 points. Okay. Next task we have defined. So risk analysis. So we have data analysis task, then risk analysis. So that's a risk analysis agent will pass here. So here again we have described, and here we need to give the risk distribution data summary. So from data summary we can give risk distribution. So here you again see in the data summary we have risk distribution. This one. So this specific attribute we are passing. Okay, and then high risk count, medium risk count, low risk count. We can pass all these data. Okay, so see, agent can generate this everything from the raw data, but as I said, this will be very time consuming. Okay, and ultimately time is will derive the cost as well, right? So that's why you don't want to have a high cost, a high time, right? So both you need to optimize. So that's why it's always good to process whatever is like processable without agent. Don't depend 100% to the agent. Okay. So that's why here I'm asking provide a detailed risk-based collection strategy, including risk category definitions and characteristics, collection priority framework, resource allocation recommendations, expected recovery rates by risk category, escalation procedure for each risk level. Okay. So now here I'm adding that particular risk analysis agent. Okay. And this is the expected output. Similarly, we have segmentation tasks. So that's where I'm passing data summary. This is the input. And then these are the four distinct customer segments based on loan amount, payment behavior, risk profile. Okay. And then for each segment, what we want, segment definition and characteristics, typical customer profile, collection challenges specific to this segment, for the what are the challenges for this segment, and the recommended approaches, right? And then most importantly, communication strategy and collection plan. So these two are the most important tasks. Okay. So here what we did, description, develop communication strategies for each customer segment. So here I'm passing response summary because based on response, we can get to know the behavior of the customer pattern in customer, right? And based on that, we can develop better customer communication strategies. So the first like channel preferences, like which channel we need to communicate to customers, what should be the tone and approach, what should the frequency and timing, morning time, evening time, noon time, weekend, whatever, email template example for each segment, call script guidelines, escalation communication protocol, everything we can ask. Okay, this could vary. So based on like lenders to lenders, you can define what you want basically. Okay, or you can also tell, okay, you can tell agent, okay, you are an expert, based on your expertise suggest me what could be the best, all those sort of things you can define here. Then create collection plan finally. Okay, so create collection action plan task. So guys, here you see like it's very simple, in plain language we are defining everything, right? So it's like very simple. It just we need to follow some block, a sequence of block. So those are a task basically. So last task we have defined, create collection plan task, right? So here a description we are defining, create a comprehensive collection action plan using insights from previous analysis. So like for this collection action plan, we need the insight from all those previous tasks, right? So that's a portfolio summary. See here we are providing the total customers and their summary. Okay, high risk count. So develop an actionable collection plan, including daily, weekly collection workflow, staff allocation, and workload distribution, performance targets and KPIs, success metrics and monitoring, implementation timeline, resource requirements, expected outcome, and ROI projections. Right. So these are all things we have defined, and then we are passing the agent. That will be a collection plan agent. So what to see here? So in agent we have collection manager agent, right? So this is the last agent. So which does kind of everything. I mean, kind of consolidation of every previous task, and then exact actually the execution part. Okay. So now we have defined all the tasks and we need to bind them and instantiate them. So that's where I create all tasks. Here data summary, response summary and agent, and we are passing to this one, right? So that's where here in the first task we have passed agent 0, that is our data engineer agent, the risk analysis agent, then a segmentation agent, then communication strategy agent, and then for this collection manager, right? So that's where we have binded everything. So now we have agents ready, we have readily available data, we have created agents, we have created tasks, right? Now we need to kind of call them. So now let's jump to the main method. Okay, main class, sorry, main file, and that's where you will see the main class. So here we have loan collection system. So we have instantiated all this data processor, loan agent, export utils. Okay, so export util is nothing but like once you have a report generated in the terminal, so everything will be exported to your readable markdown, which we have seen in the beginning of the video, right? So that's fair. So guys, I'm not focusing too much on Python side because I assume you are expert in the Python. Okay, so that's where you can. I mean, I'm just ignoring that Python part basically. Okay, so but anyway, if you have any doubt or any question you want to ask, just put in the comments. I'll be happy to answer that one. Okay, that's not a problem. You might be a beginner or whatever. So I mean, no hesitation. You can just simply ask. Okay. So we can discuss there. But if I explain everything in the video, then video will go more than 2 hours, right? So that's the time limitation I have. Okay, let's move further. So here, get user choice. So here, what basically I am doing, so I'm asked, so because as this is a demo one, so I'm asking, so if you want to, you have some OpenAI or keys restriction, you want to, don't want to over consume your credits of the LLM, so you can process only the sample data. So that's where I'm asking whether you want to process sample data or all data. If you provide all, then it will process all data. So simple, right? Then if you are providing the sample data, then I'm just kind of slicing the customer data based on the sample. So for sample, I'm taking only 10. That's what we have seen in the demo, right? And then run analysis. So the method run analysis, this will be called. So as I see, as you have seen in the very beginning of the video, right? So here we have instantiated this class, and then from there I'm calling run analysis, and this will call this method. And this is the main method. And from here, everything will be triggered. Okay, so that's where get user choice. Based on the choice, if it is sample, this block will be called. If it is whole, this block will be called. Internal analysis will be ditto same, it's just the data size. So here we'll pass only 10 customer data, and here we'll pass the whole data. That's it. Okay. So here, if it is sample, then gets a customer sample, that is a 10 data sample. And then that 10 data customer sample here will pass for the process data. So that is the very first thing, right? In the process data, we are passing a loan data path from the config. If you see the config, inside config, we have setting.py, and then here we have loan data path, right? That synthetic data loan data. And then customer responses. Here we have. So now let's go back to main file, right? So here we have customer response, that is JSON file, and customer sample, what we have collected here. And in here, we don't have customer sample. We are just passing loan data path and customer responses, everything. And then here we'll get a data summary, response summary, process data out of this processor. So here we have defined, we have discussed already everything, right? And based on that, here we'll again instantiate the get all agents. So agents will have all the agent definition, and then these agents will be passed to the all tasks, right? And from this task, so everything whatever we've defined here where is that task in this class, right? All the tasks are defined here, right? So all the tasks are defined here. And now if I go back to main, so all task object is created, and then here importantly we are creating the crew. Okay, so crew will trigger everything. It will bind everything and it trigger all the agentic AI process. So kind of it is an orchestrator, right? So that's where we have agents, we have task, and verbose is true kind of for debugging purpose, and then it will run in sequential manner. So there are multiple method crew can run. It can run in a hierarchical manner. I mean. Parallel processing can also be done, or sequential also be done. That you can define here. Okay, how you want basically. And if you go to the crew definition, you can See, when you can read more about it, okay? Or if you really want to go much deeper, then of course you can refer the official documentation. But of course, if you want to quickly discuss anything with me, then of course you are most welcome, and you can put in the comment so we can discuss more in more detail basically. So here for now, you just understand we are defining a crew orchestrator. That's where we are passing the agents and tasks and verbose for debugging purpose, and then sequences so that every agent will perform a task sequentially. Okay, and then here we are kicking off the agent, right? And then the moment it kicked off, then it will finally generate the result, and that result I'm exporting into the markdown and saving that markdown file. Okay, so this is all about your agentic AI framework, and that's where you have seen this beautiful markdown being generated in the output folder. Where is the output folder? This is the output folder, right? And here analysis result.json is also generated. So of course, this is generated for 10 customer, but if you want, you can generate for like all the customer. Let me run it for all the customer. Okay. So here I'm running it again. If you just see my terminal, okay. So here I'm passing all and see it is generating, it will generate for all. And I see here in the bottom, it is thinking, executing task, it is thinking. So this data engineering task is just collecting some statistics out of the data. It has done very quickly. The risk analysis it has generated. So it has gathered this from the input data, and now it is thinking about this data and generating some risk profile. Okay. So likewise, it is generating. So in between, it might hand over these tasks to different because it is dependent on the previous input. So that's where it will do all sort of communication, but mostly it will run in sequentially because we have defined it sequentially explicitly. But if we remove that, then it will run like more on hierarchical. Any agent can communicate with any other agent based on need because it has self-thinking power. Okay, so this is all about today's video. I hope you liked it, right? And most importantly, it is very helpful in lender organizations. So it has the power to replace the traditional approach and potentially reached up to the 91% collection rate and to 12 average days collection compared to 42 average days in traditional approach, right? So it is very powerful, and I would love to hear your thought. If you are from the same industry, I'm open to discuss, have a long discussion around this because I'm very much interested in this use case. And technically, if you are implementing, then if you have some implementation doubt or any question or any part is not clear or anything around this you want to clarify, just drop me a comment and I would love to discuss further. Okay. So thank you very much for giving your time. And if you really liking my videos, then I would love if you share this to the AI community or with your colleagues. So thank you very much. That's it.